Welcome everybody to Coffee with Hako, episode 2, where I have my morning coffee and I scream into the void. Hello everybody, my name is Hako and welcome into the channel. So, with today's coffee, cheers everybody. I'm having a beautiful latte. My coffee machine has actually been out of order for 2 weeks. So I got it back yesterday, so I started doing this series. But today's topic, I wanted to address the fear of missing out, or FOMO. Now, FOMO is something we encounter daily in our lives by this point, as technology and especially as social media advances. We see stuff, we see stuff, we want stuff, and especially if there is a sense of urgency added on into it, it's going away, etc., etc. It's oh, act now. And FOMO is actually a very, very powerful tool for companies to utilize when it comes to their marketing. And especially in the Gacha genre, FOMO is very much a selling tactic, and a very efficient one at that. So let's talk about that. How do you handle FOMO in these in Gacha games in general, in Zenless Zone Zero, in Honkai Star Rail, in Genshin Impact, in Wuthering Waves, etc. Now, what is important to note when it comes to FOMO in these games is that there's always a fake sense of urgency that isn't really there. And seeing as we're getting a new banner character in, what is it now? Around 2.5 days, Ellen is gonna be gone from her banner, and Zhu Yuan is gonna take her place. A lot of people might be feeling very stressed, and I keep seeing the question more and more, oh, should I spend to get Ellen because she's soon gonna be away? And to that question, should you spend? A lot of people will just tell you that the simple answer, no. I will tell you, well, if you want and have the means, by all means, go for it, but make sure you do it for the right reasons and make sure it doesn't, financially... It's always gonna, it's never an investment in a gacha game, right? It's always gonna impact you negatively, financially, but so are a lot of options that, a lot of fun options in life are gonna impact you financially negatively. I don't like to go out and drinking, for examples. That's an expense I don't have. Instead, I like virtual anime theaters. So I put my go out and drink money there instead. Ish. So if you're thinking of spending to don't miss out on Ellen, remember one thing: Ellen is gonna come back, and she's gonna come back pretty soon. And by the time she is coming back, Miyab is probably gonna be out. And if you're just looking at the meta, if you're looking at Ellen from a meta pick, I'd say don't, because by the time Ellen comes back, she isn't gonna be the best ice damage dealer in half a year's time, in a few months' time. Who knows how fast it goes? But she isn't gonna be the hottest shit for very long. I pulled for Ellen because I freaking love sharks. I find sharks super cool, and in my first coffee time with Hako, I went over how they actually incorporated shark elements to our gameplay, and I just think that is freaking genius. Love the character, so I choose to go for Ellen. But one thing I've learned over all these years I've played gacha games is do not go all in, do not open your wallet, and if the wallet runs out, your legs, to get a meta character that you don't necessarily enjoy. In Genshin Impact, I have Mayula. I love Mayula over everything in that game, and I think she's amazing. She has a lot of faults. People online will tell you, oh, don't build Yula. She's useless. Blah blah blah. Whatever. I love her. I love her to death. I would never put Mayula down. She's the most fun character in the game for me. I just love her gameplay, I love her aesthetics. She is chef's kiss. Love Mayula. And now, what Hoyoverse actually does really freaking good. So yeah, this is also episode 2 of me blowing off MiHoYo to my coffee. What MiHoYo does really freaking good with their characters with their game design in general, is that almost all other gacha games, I'm talking every single gacha game, will have a lot of super challenging content and leaderboards to make us compete against each other. Because when we have a sense of I'll say it, competesmanship. I know there's sportsmanship. Is there competesmanship? well, when we have a chance, or when we have a sense of like, oh, this little fuck, he's trying to one up me. Oh, I'll show him. I'll show him. Jeeves, get my card. Like that makes us spend more. As you can probably tell if you've played Hoyo versus games, like they don't have that. None of the games have challenging content and none of the games have leaderboards, which from a business standpoint would really benefit them if they did. But I'm super glad that they don't, because I think I might be wrong on this one. But hear me out. I think a lot of gacha games are so predatory in like their design that like it sets its claws in people, but eventually they set their claws in too deep and you realize that you get hurt and you move like you will pull away and never come back, because like there is a certain stress when it's always like, oh, leaderboards, oh, gotta be the best, gotta have meta teams, etc. Meanwhile, like Genshin, Star Rail and Zenless is the nice little coffee shop where you can meet and hang out with your friends, and they make the characters very freaking distinct, so you can get attached to those characters and build them and feel like you're not massively boning yourself up the bum and locking yourself out of anything fun in the game. Because let's face it, with the right investment in any of Hoyo's games, with the right investment into like whatever character, like you can clear all content. You can clear all content. Like there is the national team in Genshin, like that's just filled with 4 stars, and they can still clear almost every single abyss, as far as I know. And instead of like constantly like having you upgrade your roster to like keep up with some like new invented challenge, no, instead they make meaningful content where you can basically bring anybody. You can basically bring anybody. You can people that you like, you can do this content, and like you can have the team that you want, not the team you must have because this is the meta. So I think that's one of the things like they do very freaking good in this. That well, any character is actually freaking usable. And especially in Zenless Zone Zero, like I've talked about this numerous times in my videos, that there is not a single bad character in Zenless. There are some worse characters. Billy keeps like being put down as like kind of the worst characters, the worst character in the game. I'm not gonna argue that, but I am gonna argue like that anybody that reads that as like, oh, Billy is useless, or like, oh, Billy shouldn't be invested in. Like, you're wrong. You can invest in Billy 100% and have an awesome time with him. And that's what I'm gonna do at some point. Like, I've invested into Corin, and I've done a Corin guide, the link in the description if you want to see it. Corin is by no means the best character in the game, or like even close to being the best character in the game. Can I make a team with her that is really freaking fun and good to play? Yes I can. I've actually done it, and I've cleared Chi defenses with it. And it's really freaking fun, and I just love Corin as a character, and like her lack of self-esteem makes me want to pick her and like use her in missions. So, should you be pulling for Ellen? Like, should you be opening your bank account to get Ellen now before she leaves? It's up to you. Do you need to do it? Absolutely not. Absolutely freaking not. Every single person who's played this more than a week, you have enough characters that if you invest in them, you can clear all future content within the upcoming 7 to 8 months. You don't need Ellen. Like let nothing let nothing fear you into thinking that you need Ellen. But if you want Ellen, go for Ellen. I find her super fun to use. Same with Zhu Yuan. Like Zhu Yuan, who is the cop girl that's coming. Also, he wants a treat. Can we just give him a treat? In return, he will wave to you too. Pilut, hello. One more time. Hey, that's a little bit half-assed, but alright. What? Oh, almost caught it. Yeah, let nothing fear you into think that you need Ellen. But if you want Ellen, go for Ellen. Same with Zhu Yuan. Like, I myself, I am putting out like videos like, oh, like is she gonna be the best character ever in the game? Yeah, maybe, but that shouldn't dictate anything. It's like, more, do you like her playstyle? Me personally, I like Zhu Yuan's playstyle because it's very like heavy reliant on like a lot of like micromanagement with the resources, and maybe I'm acoustic, but like I find that stuff to be kind of fun. Like the more stuff to keep check over, the better. So I'm gonna be pulling for Zhu Yuan. But not a single person needs Zhu Yuan. Like, we don't need anything other than the A ranks in this game to get by. And every character will be power crept, every character will be absolute, every character will come back. So don't wire your brain into thinking that we need the characters, because we don't. If you want the characters to have the means for the characters, like whale, whale if you feel like that's something you want to do and you have the means to do it. Otherwise, don't. Like, do it for the right reasons if that is the case. Never do it for a fear of missing out. And I touched upon it before, other gacha games are definitely worse. Like, I've never seen a pop-up in this game, like, oh, here, deal. It is 80% off. It is 2,700 value pack. Buy it now, and, like, buy it now. You have 2 hours. Hoyo doesn't do that with their games, and like that's also massive hat off to them, because that also drives sales, but it also raises anxiety in its players, and the deeper it sinks its claw into us, the more it will hurt once we finally decide to pull away, and everybody will pull away eventually when the claws go too deep, and we kind of get what they're doing with us. Long story short, don't have a fear of missing out. Every character is optional. Every single character in the horror game is optional. And in all the games I pulled meta characters that I don't vibe with. I skipped adventuring in Honkai Star, and even though he's a busted unit, I didn't like him as a character, so I skipped him. And instead I took what would have been my adventuring pulls, I saved them for Firefly, which I enjoyed a hell of a lot more. So go for what you find is fun rather than meta, because meta does exist, but it doesn't need to exist in these games, if that makes sense. I felt like I rambled on a lot in this, but I hope it wasn't like too rambly, I hope it wasn't too unfocused. And thank you for tuning in to Coffee Time with Hako. Until next time, follow the channel.